to my channel. My name is Jackie Figueroa. I haven't figured out an intro yet, but I feel like I should. So you know what? I'm working on it, okay? Just give me some time. I'm new to this. But today I'm wearing blue because it fits the theme. About this because I get a lot of questions. And I feel like I actually don't really open up about my life back home just because I get very sensitive about it, but it is something really important about me, so I think it'd be good to just tell you guys a little bit about it. So I asked you guys to ask me some questions about how it was living in El Salvador, and I'm really excited because I just feel like a lot of you have been wanting to know about how it was for me over there, so now I can finally like open up to you guys and tell you. First off, I want to say that for the people that don't know me, I am Salvadorian. I was not born here. I was born in El Salvador, and I came here when I was about 8 or 9. I started 3rd grade here, and I lived in San Diego ever since. I haven't moved anywhere else. So I'm going to read some of your questions. The very first one that a lot of you guys were asking was, how much money do you make over there? So it honestly really depends. Having my cousin out here honestly really opened my eyes to a lot of it because, you know, I was really young when I left, so I didn't really grasp everything about it. So I want to talk about a little bit about my childhood. I was very, very, very fortunate that we obviously didn't have a lot of money, but we were fortunate enough to live in like a gated community, kind of. There was a little tienda in la pupuseria right down the street from me, but it was still within the gated community. So my grandpa would give me 25 cents a day. I would go get a Fanta, and I would go get a pupusa, and then I would have still enough money somehow to go get like, I would get like, there had these little angelitos. I don't know the name of them, but they weren't gummy, like in the gummy sense, but they were like, if someone finds them for me, please let me know. I don't remember the name, but they're like little angelitos. They're shaped of an angel, and they were pink and yellow, and they're like fluffy, but they're still gummies. I don't remember the names, but I would always get some type of chips or candies or whatever, and that was my meal every day. Very, very unhealthy, but I mean, I was able to do whatever I wanted with my allowance, which was 25 cents a day. I would get so freaking happy about that because to me, obviously it was a lot, but obviously now that I'm older, so basically in El Salvador, you were paid by the day, you're not paid by the hour. Googling it just so I could see, you know, I haven't lived there in a while, so I was pretty curious about how much it says that on average people make over there. So on average, a year, people make $7,000 in my country, and that is their average like income. Obviously, just like any other place, there's obviously some people that make a good amount of money. Usually those are like people that own developments or like businessmen, or they have a lot of business over there. Obviously kind of depends, but as an average person, that is their salary supposedly. They said that $430 is usually like the minimum income. I don't know how true that is. It seems a little more than what I think it would be, but could be true, could be not. I haven't been there in years, so please don't come for me. And if you do live over there, then feel free to comment down below because that was actually one of the most asked questions. Another question that was asked a lot was if I have any family over there. So all my immediate family, like my uncles, my aunt, cousins, everyone, my grandparents from both sides, from my mom and my dad, actually all live over there. So I was able to actually fly out my grandparents in 2015 or 16, I can't really remember. And if you guys saw that video, that was actually very wholesome. I'm gonna try and see if I can put it on here because that video just holds such a special place in my heart. I don't know, I'm so nervous. ¿Cómo está usted? I honestly only have like maybe 2 or 3 family members that live out here, and that's pretty much it. but all my immediate family is back home, which is why I miss them so much. Did you ever have a boyfriend out there? I did not ever have a boyfriend. I was really young, but I did have a big crush on this one guy named Rodrigo, if you were out there. My cousin just told me that he had 2 kids already and that he had them pretty young, so I'm really sad about that. I had to let him go, but that was my crush. I used to actually annoy my brother because he was my brother's friend, and I used to try and always follow them so that I could see him. Oh my god, it was so embarrassing. Don't be like me, okay? That's so thirsty of me. Ugh. I don't claim her. Are you planning to visit soon? I actually wanted to visit at the end of the year, but right now with like everything happening, honestly, I just don't think it would be the best decision to make, and that kind of breaks my heart because I was so set on going this year. But I think it would be nice to go during summer next year, so I'm really hoping no matter what I'm gonna go no later than next year. So I'm really excited because I haven't seen my aunts and all my cousins in so long, and like so many of them had kids, and my family was just expanding, and I just feel like I get really emotional about it. I don't know why, I don't want to cry, but I just feel like I'm missing so much of that. Hold on, I don't want to cry. See, this is why I don't make videos, because I get very emotional. And I think it's just because I know they're so far away, and I feel like I'm missing so much of like their life, and just having my cousin here, like hearing about everyone, like it just, I don't know, I really get like not even a homesick, but I just miss my family, and I wish that they were here, you know, and I'm talking about it because I just feel like I'm just missing so much of their life, or like they're missing so much of mine, and I get to experience like all these things, and like, you know, my family isn't here, so like I don't know. I'm sorry guys. So I didn't mean to get emotional so quickly. I knew I would. Ugh. Okay, next question. What's one advice for a new English learner? So honestly for me, so when I first came here, I knew no English whatsoever. For me, honestly, it was just listening to people talk and kind of seeing what they would do. Like I started associating words, and like honestly also not being afraid to speak it. I know I sounded terrible when I first spoke it, and even now like I'm learning a lot. Like from what I know in high school to what I know now, like it's so much more, and like really grasping the language and like listening to people speak, like you will learn no matter what. Like you will continue to be learning that language. You're not gonna pick it up right then and there and just know exactly everything, but don't be afraid to speak it. And even if you think you sound bad, people will understand you, so don't be afraid to say anything. Read books, like very simple ones, just so that I could learn, like, you know, fork and spoon and stuff like that, because I wanted to speak to everybody, especially because I was in school, so it was really hard. But definitely taking classes, I think that helped me a lot. And it's really like once you start getting the hang of it, a lot of words start making sense. They're very kind of, I'm not gonna say it's an easy language, but to me personally, it was a very easy language to learn. I think what was hard was the understanding of it. When it came to like more, like the older that I got, I understood more about it, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm making sense. I hope I'm making sense. Said, what made you want to live there in the first place? I was actually born there, so it wasn't like a choice. I was born there. So like living there. So from what I remember, like I said, I was really young. It was amazing. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I just miss it. It was very like, you're always with family, you're never on your phones. I mean, a lot of people there can't afford, I couldn't afford a phone or any like cool electronic stuff, so I was always, you know, out playing hide and seek, playing tag. I would go and bother my brother. Him and his friends were always out, like just in the street, you know, like you get to play with football, or you would play like tag, I don't know, crazy stuff, like whatever we could be entertained by, we would be. And I think that's why I loved it so much, because it was so intimate. Like we were very in the moment, and I miss that honestly, because I feel like here it's like such a different way when you grow up. Like I used to go to a private school when I first started first grade, and they actually had a lot of cool courses that I think were really important. Like one of them was swimming. You had to swim, like that was one course that was required, and you had to play a sport. Lunch, because during lunch they would give you like pepino, they would give you cucumber and like mangoes and stuff like that with like sal and tajin, and that was your lunch, and it was really good, honestly. And the school was a little bit different than here, so the kids that were younger, like in kindergarten to, I don't remember what, or like pre-K, they had to go up to school in the morning, and then they would be out by like 1, I believe. And then my school started from 1 to 6, and that was my school. So a lot of the course, like I'm telling you, it was a little different, but I honestly loved it because we didn't have to wake up early. And that was, the other question is, what made you move from there? So I moved because my mom came out here, and to be a citizen and stuff, you actually have to stay out here. So we had to separate for, you know, some time just so that she could get her citizenship, and then we had to wait back home. So we ended up having to live with my grandparents, which was super amazing, and I spent time over there with them, and then we moved here with my brother and my sister. So what part of El Salvador are you from? So I'm actually from San Salvador, the capital. Did you ever experience anything negative? I mean, there were certain situations. Some places over there are obviously dangerous, but it kind of honestly depends. I do remember this one time that when I was back home, we used to go to the ranch. So there was this one family friend who had like a little ranch home. It wasn't little actually. Who had a ranch which was connected to the ocean. The pool of it actually was connected to salt water, which was super cool. Not like fish and stuff, but just like the salt water. And I remember one time when we were all out there and we were all having fun. I was still pretty young, but like it's weird how you remember certain things, you know? I remember this very clearly, and we were all out, and the neighbors were also having a party next to us or something like that. I couldn't really remember where this guy even came from, but then he started yelling at one of the guys that was with us. He was like, you know, an older parent and stuff, and he threw a bottle of beer to my foot, and I got a huge cut. And then they ended up in the biggest fight ever because all the guys that were here, like all the parents and stuff, they were so pissed. And I honestly had I was just there because I was hanging out with all the parents, and my old soul ass was hanging out with all the parents. Anyway, that was my first mistake. But yeah, so then I just remember like literally the bottle just coming in. It was like one of those Heineken, the green ones. I remember it clearly. And it hit me on my foot, and it was like this biggest fight ever, and I was so freaking scared. But obviously, just like any other place, like there is certain areas in my country that are very dangerous. Like people will break into your car, or you know, hold you like that. And it obviously is unfortunate because it's really sad. What's your favorite thing about El Salvador? And honestly, everything. Like I think I love the intimacy, because you know, when you come from a place where people don't have a lot, I think that you just appreciate everything a lot more. I think just my biggest goal ever in life has always been like that I want my mom to be happy, and I don't want her ever worrying about me. That's why the second that I came here and I was able to work, I started working. And at one point I had like 3 jobs. I was super skinny because I actually wasn't even eating. Like I was just working, and I wanted to be financially independent so bad. Like I can't even remember the last time that my mom ever had to pay for any of my bills. I actually started paying for all of my stuff, my phone and everything. Since I was like 14, I was taking nanny jobs, anything that I could to make money. Because once I moved here, I started going to a school that was like very wealthy. I lived in Scripps Ranch, and you know, around a bunch of wealthy kids, and they used to bully me a lot, I won't lie. Not even because of like my money situation, but just in general. And I feel like I didn't grasp enough English at that time to be able to defend myself like I can now. Now I'm the wrong person to ever with, but back then, like, I didn't really understand the grasp of things. I didn't understand, you know, like much of what's going on. A lot of words were different to me, like, you know what I mean? So it did take me some time to like kind of recognized that, but I did know that there was one thing that I wanted to do, was to be completely financially stable, or at least financially where I could be okay, you know. And I just never wanted to be a burden on my mom, or for her to have to like ever struggle and stuff. And you know, like I would help her with bills or whatever I could ever since I started working, just because like I wanted to help her so bad, and that was like my thing, and that's always been my thing. I love my mom so much. I've always wanted to help her or my family or whoever I can, and it just makes me appreciate everything. Like when my cousin told me that $300 is what you make a month, I think that's so wild, because that's like basically what I pay with my car, or like insurance, or you know what I mean. Like it really puts things in perspective for you, and that's why I'm always so grateful for you guys and like any opportunity that I've ever been able to get, because this shit means so much to me, you know, because I know that like I can change my whole family, like, and that's just what I always think about, and just little stuff like that. And I don't know, it's just, it means so much to me to be able to do this, and like I'm so grateful for all of it. Like I can't even explain it to you guys. Like it's such a different feeling coming from nothing and then being able to have like what I want. And that's why when people call me things, like I never really care, because I know where I come from, and I know how hard, like even if I wasn't doing this, you know, like I took an opportunity that I feel like not a lot of people get, and I'm so freaking blessed. But even if I wasn't doing this, I know that whatever I would be doing, I know that I wanted to be financially stable, and like have my mom never worry about me. Like that was always my goal. And even if it meant not eating, even if it meant not sleeping, because I honestly used to rarely sleep, because I would be from one job to another, then I would nanny, one job to another, nanny, like any way that I could make money, I was doing it. And I was really trying hard, to be honest. My eye bags were not Gucci, and I still tried to have a social life, so it was very overwhelming, but I'm very proud of myself. A lot of people ask me what type of food do I eat. So over there, pupusas are really, really big. And if you guys don't know, basically they're like little corn cakes, but you could have like revueltas, which are like, sometimes they have pork, or you could have like queso and frijoles, which is beans and cheese. And there's actually one place in San Diego, the only place that I go to, it's called El Salvador Pupuserias and something else. I can't really remember, but it's a blue restaurant. It's a little thing right here, because that's the only place that I go to. I actually used to eat plátanos, frijoles, and eggs every single day for breakfast and even for dinner. Like plátanos con crema and frijoles, that was like what I would eat. And plátanos are basically like fried plantain, but that's all I would eat with beans, and like sour cream, that was my meal. You'd be doing. So if I actually stayed in El Salvador, I think I would have been a lawyer, to be honest. I was very driven about that when I first came here. I actually wanted to be in like the FBI, or doing something about like something in the criminal justice system, but you had to be a citizen. I'm a citizen until 2 years ago. I actually became a citizen in May 19, I believe, 2018. And you have to be a citizen to be in the FBI and stuff like that. So I was really like heartbroken about that. But I would probably be a lawyer, not gonna lie to you guys. I think because my mom was actually studying that I always was like I want to know more. Like I've always been into that stuff, and I'm like such a tedious person when it comes to like little details and stuff. And I know I would have been so good. I would have won your cases, man. The question that you guys wanted to ask, a lot of you asked about my dad. And I actually used to, like, when I lived over there, I would spend a lot of time with my dad and my grandparents from his side whenever he was free and stuff. But he actually passed away about 2 years ago. So unfortunately, even if I go back, I don't get to see him. Pets. I'm gonna tell you guys this crazy story. I can't even believe I've never talked about it. Almost died because I had a dog. I can't even remember what kind of dog she was, but her name was Ginger, and she was honestly pretty good. She was like, I don't know, sometimes she had her days. She was just like, she was really small, so you know, like sometimes small dogs are just snappy, but she was always like by herself. She was not a cuddly dog or anything. And one of the days I was pouring her food, so like, you know, obviously I'm like going down to give her food, and I think in her head she thought I was taking away the food because she was right there in front. We were still trying to train her, and she bit me, okay? But when she bit me, I think I still have a scar somewhere. I have makeup on, so you might not be able to see it, but I have a scar on my neck from it. She bit me and she took off a whole chunk. Like, I'm not kidding you guys. I wonder if I have any pictures. I'm gonna see, and I'm gonna ask my grandma and see if she has any pictures. But she took a whole thing right here of my skin. You could see my arteries. If she had bit a little bit more, I would have died instantly, because it was like so close to my artery that I would have absolutely passed away. At first, because it was such an adrenaline, like I didn't realize how much she had bit, and so in my head, like I wasn't even processing. So I like called my grandma. I'm like freaking out. I'm like, oh my god, that's probably my worst memory. I would say this actually. And I'm freaking out. My grandma comes. She's like, what happened? I'm gushing so much blood. Okay, I'm like, now I'm starting to freak out because now it's starting to pour a lot. But I'm still in my head, like it didn't hurt that bad. I think just because I was like so much in shock. And you could see this whole thing. My grandma grabbed something to like put it right there. We ended up having to call the ambulance, which was like so crazy to do in my country. Like, you don't really call the ambulance unless it's like emergency. So then I had to go over there. They had to clean it. It was like a whole thing. I think they put me to sleep, and I had to, it took me like maybe 2 or 3 months to recover. So I had to wear like a big like thing right here just so that it wouldn't open up. I had to clean it every day. It was very traumatizing, and obviously we gave the dog away because she was very aggressive, and I wasn't the only young one there. So my grandparents, my grandpa was so upset, and yeah, I almost died. I was like this close, like no kidding. Like if we didn't take the ambulance, I genuinely think I would have died because of her, which was like weird. But aside from her, we did have a lot of pets actually. My grandma always kept hella pets. We had like 2 turtles at one point. We had a parrot. We had like 6 of those little birds. I don't even remember what they're called, but we had like a whole cage of birds. We had a lizard at one point, which I don't even know how, because that lizard was so gross to me. And we had another dog named Toby, but he would come in and out. He was like, you know, living his best life. We don't even know where he would go, but he would leave for a while. And we had a bunny at one point. I think we had every pet in the world, to be honest. I genuinely do. And we're happy that I finally get to talk about this. I'm sorry I get so emotional. Make sure that you're following me on Instagram, because I am posting my giveaway for sneakers today. And I definitely want you guys to be a part of it, and I'm just super excited that I get to do something like that for you guys for my birthday. I'm just super excited. So I love you guys, and I'll see you then.